These Coptic Christians in Germany are celebrating Palm Sunday and saying prayers for those around the world who are suffering. Their church is in the western German town of Höxter. Most of its members are German citizens of Egyptian origin. The bishop takes time during the service to pray for those in prison, in exile, or threatened by war. Anba Damian is the head of the Coptic Church in Germany and its some 7,000 members. He came to Germany from his native Cairo more than 30 years ago. Today, the Copts are praying for Mary Gabra. Severely injured, she was brought to Höxter from her home city of Alexandria at the beginning of January, together with Yousif Magdy. He too bears the scars of the brutal attack in Alexandria early on January 1st. It was just a few minutes after midnight when the bomb exploded outside this church in Alexandria. Mary and Yousif were among thousands of Coptic Christians attending a New Year's Mass. Many Copts in Egypt are convinced the attack was carried out with the knowledge of government agencies. 23 people died in the explosion, a night Mary Gabra will never forget.
I was standing right outside the church when there was a huge explosion. At first, I didn't realize it was a bomb. Everyone fell to the ground. Later, I realized that I had lots of shrapnel in my legs. Inside the church, the priest tried to calm people down. Outside, many were unconscious.
I went right out after the sermon. Then came the blast and I fell to the ground. I saw that I was surrounded by body parts. I dragged myself back into the church to find help.
A few days after the attack, Bishop Damian managed to get some of the most badly wounded victims flown to Germany for treatment. Yousif was admitted to a hospital in Höxter. He was discharged in early March. Since then, he and Mary have been living in the monastery guest house. They still need medical care and are also receiving counseling from the bishop.
Our fellow Christians in Egypt are members of the same body, and when one member suffers, the whole church suffers. I studied medicine, so I know what can be done. In Egypt, you get a certain level of treatment, and that's it. There isn't the training and know-how there. That's why we had to bring the people here, so they could receive professional help.
Bishop Damian wants his monastery to be a refuge for persecuted Copts from all over the world. For years, the monks have been gradually renovating the building themselves. It's more than 700 years old and was previously a Catholic monastery. Damian believes more Copts will flee Egypt soon. He says the initial euphoria of the revolution, where Christians and Muslims protested together against the Mubarak regime, has long since passed.
What's very worrying for us are the Islamic tendencies in Egyptian society and the very loud voices that say Egypt must be an Islamic state and the Copts have to subjugate themselves, particularly given the many attacks that have taken place in recent months against Copts and Coptic institutions.
Everyone here can tell stories of how they faced discrimination in Egypt. In theory, Christians in Egypt have the right to exercise their religion freely, but in practice, they live under difficult conditions and see themselves as second-class citizens.
For us, nothing in Egypt has improved. It's already clear that Article 2 of the Egyptian Constitution won't be changed. That means Egypt will remain an Islamic state and the Sharia the basis for the law. And that means we'll continue to face discrimination and animosity.
The attack in Alexandria has left the victims deeply traumatized. Their medical treatment will soon be finished, but they have no desire to return to Egypt.
They find it hard to imagine going back to the place where they were nearly killed, but they don't know what to do. They don't want to apply for asylum because half their families are still back in Egypt. But the thought of going back isn't easy either, because of the deep wounds in their souls. And so, right now, I'm appealing to lots of politicians to ask if we couldn't find a solution for this small number of people.
One solution could be permanent residency in Germany for the victims of the attack. Right now, that looks unlikely. And so the Palm Sunday communion may be the last that Mary and Yousif take in Germany. If their prayers are not heard soon, they may well be headed back to Egypt and an uncertain future.